Okay, okay, okay. Now we've gotten into step 4 of the reading section of the exam, the dirtiest questions, which is always given to you as the second part of the reading section, part A, and second part B, but we're not going to do those immediately after sentence completion. We skip these homeboys and then we come back to them with a baseball bat and we start hitting some balls out of the park. All right. Reading comprehension. If you're doing this at the last minute, and more than likely I have told you in person, and if I haven't met you in person, I'm going to tell you right now, you better get on the stick on sentence completions because that's the first area of the exam that we really want to own is the sentence completions. The next area of the exam that we want to own in the reading section is going to be grammar. That's your step 2 area or your step 2 component. You better recognize and own those type of questions. The next type is going to be step 3, which are going to be the bullet questions. We already went over that in step 3's video. So we got step 1, step 2, step 3. Now, the biggest point about these is that if you practice with these, you're going to get down to 20 to 30 seconds per question. Now, if you focus on that, that's through practice. Remember, I don't want you worrying about the time, but the more you practice, the better you're going to be with step 1, sentence completion, step 2, grammar, step 3, bullets, so that when we get to the dirtiest part, right? The dirtiest part is going to be the reading questions. You're going to create your own personal order of difficulty. Now, the previous questions, sentence completions, grammar, and bullets, the order of the questions, you have your order of difficulty. So, for example, sentence completions, if we had 9 questions, we divide it by 3. That's easy, medium, hard. That will be an answer of 3. There'll be 3 easy, 3 medium, and 3 hard questions. Now, grammar, if they gave us 12 of those questions, 12 divided by 3, that's going to be 4. The first 4 grammar questions are going to be easy. The next one is going to be medium. And the last 4 are going to be what? They're going to be hard. Same with the bullets. Now, the bullets, I took a test in which I received 7 of these bullet questions, which is really weird. But let's say they gave us 7 questions. If they gave me 7 questions, we're going to divide by 3. What is that going to equal? 2 easies, 2 hards, and then the 3 in the middle will be medium level questions. You guys got that? But when we get to the reading questions, bruh, there's no order of difficulty. It's scrambled eggs. You're going to have to pick out the onions, the peppers, and separate them all and determine which of those questions are going to be your personal easiest and which ones are your personal nastiest and which ones are your personal medium level questions. I can't tell you which one's going to be the easiest for you because you know yourselves with reading. You're either the great reader who reads every weekend 5 novels, and I'm not that person. You forget that noise. Or you're going to be the average student who could deal with reading and understanding what's going on. But what levels the entire playing field? That they give us tricky answers and tricky questions designed to mess with us. And then they'll give us tricky passages. So, first on the order, on deck, we need to hit the question. If we know what type of question we're dealing with, we know how to destroy what we're looking at as far as the text is concerned. And that's hitting the text next. So, first you hit the question, hit the text. Then you hit the entire passage, its question, by attacking its answers from the bottom up. That's what we've done in math. That's what we've done in sentence completions, grammar, bullets. We always attack our answers from the bottom up. Our mission is to eliminate any moldy cheese answers. So any answers that don't match up with what the text is talking about, get rid of them. Out of 4 answer choices, 1 is going to be dirty to get rid of easily because it's like a nonsense answer choice, and then you have 3 left over, and that's where it gets a little bit difficult if you do not practice. So big word of the day: practice. If there's a charter graph question, right? First, understand a charter graph. Then you go hit the question, hit the text, hit the passage, attack your answers bottom up. And never, ever, ever hug questions. Just use a dummy answer to the day. That dummy answer today is the day that the answer that you choose, that when you're kind of stuck on a question, and you're not too sure what the passage is talking about, just guess on the answer. That dummy answer, it could be A, B, C, or D. I personally choose B, C, or D. I never choose A. If I say B is going to be my dummy answer today, then any question that gives me trouble, I select B and I flag the question to come back to it to see maybe if it shakes out the truth. All right, so let's take a look at a few examples here. Here's question number 8. I'm going to point out some questions that I personally like. Now, this was distributed in class. We worked on these. We talked about them. Maybe we didn't get to them, so you get to see them now. Now, I see no charts of graphs. So what am I going to do first? Step A, I'm going to attack the question. Which choice best states the main purpose of the text? All right, so I like that. Now, notice the answer choices is short and sweet. I like that too. And then it says, The text is short also. It doesn't look very complicated. Let's read it. The following text is from George and Douglas Johnson's 1922 poem. When I read 1922, I know it's going to be funky English, English that we hardly speak today. Benediction. All right, let's read. Go forth, my son, winged by my heart's desire. Great reaches yet unknown await for your possession. I may not, if I would, retrace the way with you. My pilgrimage is through, but life is calling you. All right. Now, if you're reading something like this for its first time, you get a little distracted. It's like if you read with your mouth closed, you're going to get distracted thinking, oh my gosh, this man, this is some old funky English. Of course. But like I said during the sentence completions grammar, actively read like you're seeing a movie in your head. Number two, mouth the words almost to the point of whispering, but with the focus of creating or recreating that movie. Even if it's old English, just get the big main picture. Don't worry about the details. Just get the overall picture. Again, the question is, what's the main purpose of the text? Now reread it again. Go forth, my son, winged by my heart's desire. Go forward. Great reaches yet unknown await. So if you go ahead, there's going to be some great things ahead for your possession. I may not if I would retrace the way with you. It looks like I can't go with you, homie. My pilgrimage is through. I've done my business, but life is calling you. All right. That was step B. Now, step C, we attack our answers bottom up. Was it to encourage a child to embrace the experiences life will offer? Ooh, that sounds good. I'm going to keep that answer. Could it be C, to warn a child that he will face many challenges throughout his life? Big question. Which one is 10 times better, C or D? Yeah, I like D better. C, get rid of it. It's not warning a child, saying you better go out there and go get your own. What about B, to suggest that raising a child involves many struggles? I didn't get that. Then what about A? Which one is 10 times better, A or D? To express hope that a child will have the same accomplishments as his parents did. Is that expressing hope to have the same accomplishments? I don't think so. D is the best answer. Not bad, right? All right. This type of question. Remember, I told you your business when you're practicing, especially at the last minute for the next exam, is to get an idea of which type of questions you like the most and which ones you like the least. This is all about best function in sentence. Now, that descriptor I put up there, but in the test, step one, you're going to do what? Read the question. Which choice best describes the function of the underlying sentence in the text as a whole? So, what's the function of that? Like, what's its purpose for being in there for sure? What is it trying to make me do? Now we know what to look for as we read. The following text is adapted from Indian Boyhood. I'm already thinking Little Boy Indian, 1902 memoir by Ohayesa, a Santee Dakota writer. In the text, Ohayesa recalls how the women in his tribe harvested maple syrup during his childhood. So I'm seeing these women, they're at the maple trees getting some syrup during his childhood. Now they tell the story. Now the women began to test the trees, moving leisurely among them, axe in hand, and striking a quick single blow to see if the sap would appear. The trees, like people, have their individual characters. Some were ready to yield up their lifeblood, while others were more reluctant. Now, one of the birchen basins was set under each tree, and the hardwood chip. Da, da, da. Now, students ask me, "Do I have to read the rest afterwards?" When you're practicing, you haven't taken a test, you haven't really prepared for the test. Yes, I strongly believe that you should read everything. When you practice more, then you'll know when to read everything and when you don't have to read everything. So we go again. Now, one of the birchen basins was set under each tree, and a hardwood chip driven deep into the cut which the axe had made from the corners of this chip, at first drop by drop, then more freely the sap trickled into the little dishes. All right, from the bottom up, what is the function of that underlying sentence in the text as a whole? Is it D? It elaborates on an aspect of the maple trees that the women evaluate. Are they evaluating it? No. What about C? It demonstrates how human behavior can be influenced by the natural environment. Are they being influenced by the sap as it appears? Notice as the trees, like people, have their individual characters. Some were ready to yield up their lifeblood, while others were more reluctant. Now, C doesn't match up. So it's got to be between A and B. Is it B? It foregrounds the beneficial relationship between humans and maple trees, or it portrays the range of personality traits displayed by the women as they work. Yep, A is the best answer. You guys get how that works? Not too bad. Let's take a look at the next sentence. Oh, you see that? I don't know if you notice, I see text one, text two. I don't like that. I will dummy answer this guy immediately. Let's say dummy answer is B, and then I will flag it for review. I don't like, you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to figure out the types of sentences or questions that I like to work with best for reading passage questions. This one, text two, or scientist one, scientist two, or professor one, professor two. Forget that noise. That's called dual text and me no likey. I will leave it for later. I'm looking for the easiest ones. Which would you rather do? Question number 10 or question number 11? You guys get it? All right, let's try question number 11. Step A, according to the text, why would a helicopter built for Earth be unable to fly on Mars? All right, now I like that. It's much more direct. I don't have to compare what they're going to say in one text versus another text. It's going straight up. Figure out why would a helicopter built for Earth be unable to fly on Mars? You know what? Pause the video and then go read the text and then figure out why would it be unable to fly on Mars. Go ahead, hit it and try it out. All right, welcome back. All right, if you didn't pause it, go ahead and try pausing it and then come back and see how you do with this sucker. Go ahead, go play. All right, now I'm going to be your conscience, right? Your conscience is saying, "Oh, what do I do with this?" In 2014, Amelia Kwan and her team at NASA set out to build a helicopter capable of flying on Mars. Because Mars's atmosphere is only 1% as dense as Earth's, the air of Mars would not provide enough resistance to the rotating blades of a standard helicopter for the aircraft to stay aloft. For 5 years, Kwan's team tested designs in a lab that mimicked Mars's atmospheric conditions. The craft the team ultimately designed can fly on Mars because its blades are longer and rotate faster than those of the helicopter of the same size built for Earth. Again, why would a helicopter built for Earth be unable to fly on Mars? Answers from the bottom up. That's your last step to dealing with this. So therefore, would we keep D? Because helicopters built to Earth are too small to handle the conditions for Mars. Think about it. Is that what we had read? That is too small to deal with the conditions on Mars? No. What about C? Because the gravity of Mars is much weaker than the gravity on Earth. How do you feel about that? All right, maybe you want to keep it. Let's go to B, because the blades of the helicopters built for Earth are too large to work on Mars. Is that what was said? We do remember that they mentioned something about the blades. If you want to reread it, the craft of the team ultimately designed can fly on Mars because its blades are longer. Because the blades of the helicopters built for Earth are too large to work. Nope, B is out. So it's got to be between A and C. Is it A because Mars and Earth have different atmospheric conditions, or because the gravity of Mars is much weaker than the gravity on Earth? Which one is the best answer? Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of students would bite all over C, but notice what they said in the third line: because Mars's atmosphere is only 1% as dense as Earth's, then therefore C cannot be the answer. A is the best answer because Mars and Earth have different atmospheric conditions. Mars's atmosphere is 1% as dense as Earth's. A is the best answer in this case. But again, attack your answers from the bottom up guarantees that we're going to check each and every answer. If we were working for the top down like the average student, we would bite on A, but potentially C could be the best answer. When we go from the bottom up, we're clearly limiting the bad answer choices from the best answer choices. And if we're stuck between two, we're trying to decide which one is 10 times better. All right, let's take a look at the next type of question: charts and graphs. Immediately, right now, charts and graphs, I don't like those guys. I'm going to dummy answer B, and I am going to flag it for review. Again, my business is to go through these guys to find the questions that I like best. Which would you rather do, question 14 or question 12? Yeah, use your common sense, man. All right, best main idea. How do I know it is? Because step one, I'm going to read the question. Which choice best states the main idea of the text? Then step two, I'm going to read, looking for the main idea of the text. And then step C is going to be attacking my answers from the bottom up. So let's figure out what is the main idea of this sucker. In West Africa, Jaylees have traditionally been keepers of information about family histories and records of important events. What are Jaylees? I don't know. They're keepers of information. Maybe they're people. I don't know. It could be animals. Who knows? Maybe a computer. They, sounds like people, have often served as teachers. Yes, they are. And advisors too, keeping histories and records and important events. Teachers and advisors also. New technologies may have changed some aspects of the world today, but contrast Tell me some more about the Jayleys. Jayleys continue to be valued for knowing and protecting their people's stories from the bottom up. Is the main idea of the text? Is it D? Technology can now do some of the things that Jayleys used to be responsible for. That is not the main idea. The main idea is that Jayleys still continue to be valuable. D is L. What about C? Jailies have been entertaining the people within their communities for centuries. Is that the main idea of the text? No. It's about, even though maybe some advancements have taken place, the Jailies still continue to be valued. The best answer has to be between A and B. Is it B? Although Jailies have many roles, many of them like teaching best, or is it even though there have been some changes in their roles, Jailies continue to preserve their communities' histories? A is the best answer. B can hit the road, Jack. You guys get the game? But let's say, no, let's go to the next one. Now, these questions best completes the sentence. They typically come at the end of the reading comprehension section. So when you see these, if they're at the end of the reading comp questions, these are easier than the charts or graphs. Notice question 19 verses 14, question 19 verses 10. 10 is harder. So that's why I say they're scrambled eggs. They mixed up the order of difficulty. These are typically easier. So when you're practicing, you're trying to determine which type of questions give you the most trouble, which type of questions you like the most, and the ones you like the least. If you determine which ones you like the least, then you can identify them fast, just like I did, and do what? Dummy, flag, and move. As soon as you come up to another one, dummy, flag, and move. Now, I know I can handle these, but these questions steal time because you have to think more. This one didn't steal time at all. This one I could be done maybe in 30 seconds to 45, maybe 60 seconds, 1 minute. But remember, if I dedicate 30 seconds per question for sentence completions, grammar, and bullets, I will have up to 2 minutes per question for reading comp. Now, I already know I've got 2 minutes for this guy, right? But let's say this one only took me 1 minute out of my 2 minutes. I still would have saved 60 seconds, which if I needed extra time for this guy, I can add 1 more minute and I haven't lost any time. 3 minutes plus 1 minute is still 4 minutes, just like the original 2 plus 2. And that's how you own the reading section of the exam. Now, for practice, if you like this, you can like, comment, and even subscribe to see when the next video comes up, because I'll go through a reading drill in which we see a bunch of questions, but for each different question type that's given in the test. So if you want, in class, I'll pass out the document. I know some of you guys have already received it, so that video for the solutions for those questions are going to come around the corner soon. If you didn't get that document, you always contact me because I know some of you guys missed class. Contact me at 786-877-7231. I'll make sure you get the next document that is on this portion of the video. These are the different types of questions. Now, we work in days, right? We got 11 days to get very familiar with the types of questions we like the most. These are all just text, no charts and graphs. These are the different topics that are being tested with those questions. Remember, step A, we always attack the question first to get an idea of what we need to answer. The other type of questions that I leave for later are going to be your charts and graphs. And notice, we got a set of days in which we can review these for you guys to recognize them in an upcoming test. Now, since you're preparing at the last minute, if you got 24 or 48 hours, you can easily go through the next several pages or 8 pages to go through. Just identify the types of questions you like the most, the least before you take the test. Let's say I'm taking a test tomorrow. I would certainly review these guys and say, all right, let me see which type of questions I like the most, which ones I like the least. Now, remember what we had just covered. The one that I don't like is going to be dual text. Don't like dual text. And even, I'll tell you which one. These guys, claims, best finding support, and there's also the ones that undermine claims or conclusions or assertions. I don't like those because you have to think some more. But all the others that are circled in blue, I like them. Now, all of the ones that I checked off for charts and graphs, I don't like any of them. Even though I know some of them can be really easy peasy, but they're like, when I hit them and I think they're going to be easy, sometimes they're difficult and they're making me spin. And I don't like spinning. I like to attack what I know I can handle and then leave for later what's going to take me a little bit more time because I want to manipulate the SAC's time. So in the order that you see this, right? Take a look. Best main purpose, best main idea, overall structure, hypothesis. Let's see if I follow that order of the document. Best main purpose, best main idea, best overall structure, and hypothesis. So you got 8 pages that follow the exact order of that checklist, and this should certainly help you. So find some time to get familiar. Remember, always do the step A's for each one, and then try out the question and see if you like it. Once you find the ones that you do like, make sure you can recognize it in tomorrow's exam if you were taking it tomorrow or if you're taking it in 5 days. But make sure you can recognize them and hit those first. And the ones you like the least, like for example, this one, I don't like this one. I would dummy answer this guy and I would flag it and come back to it. I want to get to all the easier questions like this, nice, short, and sweet. This is another one. I definitely hit this one. Nice, short, and sweet. Best completes the sentence. I'm hitting those all day. You're going to find those at the end of the reading comp questions. Best function sentence. Nice, short, and sweet. I probably hit this one. Best finding support, not undermine. I'd do it. Oh, question number 15. This guy, just from looking at it and looking at this one, hell to the no. But anyhow, you guys got the big picture. So if you need this document, you know what to do. Just text me right there. You know what? Text me RC, and I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, take care, everybody. Peace out. Easy.